Bloop, bloop. This is the real Romanay, and this is the real Romanay. We gonna chill, chat, and chop it up. About real life, real people, real issues, and hopefully real solutions. I'm so excited. This is our second broadcast. I'm hyped today.
I'm hyped too, man.
I'm so hyped right now.
After the last one, I went home. I got a chance to sit down and really think about our conversation. I got to digest it with my wife. We had a lot of time in between. I just want to let you know I came back today with some real solutions to help us move forward.
What you trying to say? You came back strong?
I came back strong. I had a week to think about some things, and I'm ready.
I hear that. He came back strong, y'all. Y'all heard him, right? Mm-hmm. He said he came back strong. Him and wifey, they didn't chill, chatted, chopped it up.
Over a chopped salad.
He has you got a different viewpoint today? Did your viewpoint change?
No, we finally got our hands on that meme I was telling you about how I feel like a lot of the toxic relationships are, residue from what society has kind of deemed what relationships should be. And it kind of, steered us in that direction.
So let me just bring everybody up to speed, because it might be a lot of people who they haven't really, come to terms with the fact that they need to tune into the real Romanay.
Tune in.
So they could get some solutions to their real life problems.
Real love.
So last week we were talking about toxic relationships. I think we used as an example, we used Krishan and Blueface, and we talked about how they've been deemed the new Bobby and Whitney, right? Mm-hmm. Then we went on to try to identify what toxic relationships, what are the characteristics of toxic relationships. I think we talked about, being able to identify when you feel unhappy in the relationship, when you're being disrespected, when there's nothing but lies and dishonesty, control, and ultimately a relationship where you don't feel supported. A relationship where you don't feel supported to the tune of you're exhausted from the relationship. Have you ever known people where you're around them and they such energy suckers that by the time you...
Succubus.
Yes, by the time you finish with them, you just exhausted.
Oh, man.
Right?
Drained.
Yes,
drained.
Exactly. So so that's not just in your daily interactions, but that's in your romances, too. People feel, drained from trying to navigate through toxic relationships. I think you mentioned on the last broadcast, you mentioned that somebody had posted something, or there was something about teaching your daughters to not fall into gender-specified roles, and how when you don't fall into these roles, the relationships are better. I think you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I mean, correct me wherever, because I'm going to read the actual meme. Your wife sent it to me.
It's not really.
But no, I could be misquoting it. I'm not sure. And it would be easy for me. Let me just say this. It would be easy for me to misquote it because I don't agree with it. So it would be easy for me to misquote it, right? So
wait, why don't we do this? Let's read it and then unpack it. So what did the meme say? And then let's get understanding. Go ahead, read it.
Overheard. Teach your daughter economic independence so in the future she can have a partner, not a master.
So now let's stop there. Let's apply this to your original two individuals. All right, let's teach financial security so you won't need a master, right? Somebody to take care of you, right? Don't you think that Krishan is relying upon Blueface for his financial security?
I don't know, because I don't know if he has any financial security himself. I mean, what did he make? 2 records?
But guess what?
He made 2 songs. I know people who have written and done 10 songs, and they haven't reached a place of financial security.
Let's use language. He was the plug. Without him, she wouldn't be who she is, right? So
net worth is $4 million.
Yeah, net worth is $4 million. What was Krishan's net worth? Before she became her, right? Probably nothing. She was doing tag. The reality show was tag, and she had to run around over obstacles and tag people, right?
I saw it.
And then she was running track, right? And then she was doing some modeling here and there, right?
Can I just say this? It's important to say this because people always throw that number out there. They say, oh, this is this person's net worth.
Yeah.
This is that person's net worth. Let's be real clear. Your net worth includes everything. Your home, your car, your jewelry. That's what your net worth is, right? So that's everything you have.
How much you,
Right. There you go.
How much you can generate.
There you go. That's what we would have to look at. And so at this point, apparently they're working collectively as a collective force to generate some revenue. Thus their show, which I was telling Craig the other night that I wanted to watch. I wanted to check out their show because I heard the show is.
But we're escaping my point. My point was, she would not be exposing herself or allowing those behaviors if she was financially independent before then, right? She wouldn't have needed to engage in that, right? She wouldn't have needed to chase his clout.
We have to stop that. No, that's not somebody that's broken. They'll find themselves in a relationship like that and tolerate a relationship like that. And guess what? They could have $1 million.
Can we pull up an image? Can we pull up an image of Krishan Rock? Just right now, in her moment right now. I want to see what she got on. Because that's going to tell me something, right? Who she was before, who she is now. And she is literally allowing this to happen for the bag. For the bag.
I don't think so.
I really do think so.
I think that
Do you disagree? Do y'all disagree?
I think she's an alcoholic. I think she found herself knee deep in the doo-doo, right? And she's an alcoholic and she's out of control. And if you could look at her and tell, she's not letting her body go like that for the bag. The girl was an athlete. She was an athlete. If you look at her now, she don't look like an athlete no more. The alcohol is wreaking havoc on her body, right? So this is not all for the bag, right? This is because, forgive me, I'm gonna say it again, looking for love in all the wrong places, right? And so what I want to pay attention to is within this meme. It says, teach your daughter economic independence so in the future she can have a partner and not a master. And so it's funny because I just had a conversation late last night, and we were talking about how Kevin Samuels says to women, that men don't really care, what they call high value men don't really care about what you have, right? And so women they would come on the show and they would say, well, I own my own home and I have my own car and I have a career and a degree and this, and that. And my question was, since when does your home, your car, and your degree determine what everybody has come up with this word where all the women now running around saying, you got to be independent, right? But what I said in the conversation that I had last night was, if you're not married, right, then you're supposed to be independent, right? You're supposed to, why is it a topic of discussion that I have my own home and I have my own car and I have a degree why is this a topic of discussion when if you don't have a husband, you're supposed to have somewhere a roof over your head, right? You're supposed to, and your education is your education, right?
So why do most women, when they get married?
Why this has come up where I'm independent,
So let me ask you a question. So if you're so independent, why when you get into the marriage, all that independency stops?
Well, I don't think it all stops.
And now you would go from independent to dependent.
I don't think
it to be independent on somebody else.
No, but the majority of women, they're for example, the majority of women say, "Hey sis, you going to the bar? Go to the bar." They sit at the bar, they see somebody sitting by themselves, and they take advantage of the lonely guy who got a credit card, and they swiping down drinks all on the person, right? And they teaching their other friend to get the bag, had them buy all the drinks, right? But you clearly have enough money to buy your own drinks, right? It's clearly you can do it by yourself, but then when you get into a relationship, you want the man to be the person who does it. There's two different type of women. There's going to be the woman that comes in and wants to be a partner, absolutely. But the majority of women are going to come in to take advantage of the man and take advantage of what the man has. That's 100% factual.
For both of y'all, you think there's a negative side to the gender stereotypes that people take advantage of, like you're trying to hit into?
Because as a man, that's the toxic part. Yeah. Why I have to guard my pocket. right?
That's
That's the part as a man. I have to guard my
But you're
pocket.
absolutely right. And so that's why I said the last episode, the last segment, I said this stuff with toxic relationship is not gender specific, right? So you have gold digging women who are looking for men, right?
As a come up.
to be their quote unquote their come up. And then you have men who are looking for women to be their, I don't want to say their servant because it's deeper than that. They just looking to objectify a woman, make her an object instead of a person, right? That's what they're doing. But my whole thing is that when men look for women like that, they're not just looking for women who don't have anything. Because it really has, for a woman, it really has nothing to do with that. And I would say for that man who allows himself to be, sorry y'all for lack of a better word, but if a man allows himself to be pimped, right? And a woman allows herself to become an object for a man, a lot of that stuff is because they're emotionally, you are out at the bar, sitting at the bar, paying for drinks, because emotionally you're not in a good place, right? And the woman who allows herself to be in a relationship or to enter a relationship that she's going to be objectified, she's not in a good place emotionally. So again, is what I said before. If you're in a good space emotionally, right, then it's certain things that you're not going to do. But I'm not going to place a toxic label on a woman who is okay with gender roles. I'm not going to place it to say it's a toxic relationship because the woman cooks and cleans. Because guess what? There are a lot of women, like women from my era, who want to cook and clean, right? That's what we want to do. That's
in no way, and let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that those things are wrong, right? Because that's people's love language at the end of the day. But I believe that some of them go too far. Some of them go too far, and then you fall into this feeling of I'm only worth what I'm capable of, that society says I'm capable of. Then you feel stuck in something, right? Society deems that men, we're supposed to be the caretakers and we're supposed to run ourselves into the ground to be those individuals. And then no matter what the world throws at us, we're supposed to pump our chests up, look forward, and keep pushing ahead, right?
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
So and then some people take advantage of that.
No, so let me ask you a question.
And that's where it becomes toxic.
And I'm getting ready to hit you with the sledgehammer right now.
All right, let's get it, John Henry.
So you're saying society says men have to do that. Men have to run themselves in the ground. They have to work. They have to provide. They have to do this. They have to do that. You're cognizant of the dysfunction in that lesson that society teaches the male population, right? Do you still work to overwork?
Do I still do it? Yeah, I do it every day.
Right. Do you still feel like you have to be the provider?
No. To be honest with you, because I've come to a place of partnership.
Do you still feel like you have to be the primary source of provision?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm working more now to contribute more as the teammate. I'm working hard to make sure that my end of the bargain is held up.
When you don't contribute what you think is an adequate contribution, do you feel any feelings of inadequacy?
Well, I wouldn't say inadequacy, but I would say there's motivating factors to want to push a little harder. Yeah.
Right. So guess what? Even with all your knowledge about the dysfunction that our social system teaches us, right? You still have times where you feel that you have to fit into those norms, right?
Yeah.
So again, the conversation I had last night was, why is it not okay to incorporate it all? Why can't a woman be successful? There used to be a commercial back in the day. You say, I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, and never let you forget you're a man. Because guess what? I'm real comfortable in that role.
Understood.
I'm real comfortable. I want to earn because you know why? Because I'm passion driven. There are things that I feel passionate about. Thus, I wanted to do the podcast. Thus, Project 33. Now I have some other new ventures that I'm going to undertake, right? So that is who I am, right? Listen, I want to be an intricate force in this world. I want to leave a legacy of change, right? For my children and my grandchildren. That means I have to be active. That means I have to get out and I have to do things.
But I feel like we're moving away from my point, though.
No, but that's not going to take away from bringing home the bacon and then frying it up in the pan.
But see, we're missing the point. I'm not saying that any of those things are truly wrong. I'm saying that a lot of those things have slid us into a place where we have to feel like that. So a woman who gets with a man thinks they have to give them a baby and all this stuff, and the man is treating them like shit. And then they feel they got to stay there with that person because that's what she's supposed to do. She feels like that's what she's supposed to do. And then when the relationship gets all messed up and the shit falls down and they feel like they got to stay there because now they created all these things and they got to stay there. That's toxic. And there's a lack of support system. There's no family member saying you don't have to be there. There's no individual saying, but she feels that to be a good mother and a good partner, she has to feel that. She has to do that, right? Or you have the man who's busting they behind all day, might work at a government agency, comes home and their wife is out in the back at the pool sipping stuff while they breaking their back and feel like they could quit their job and sit at the pool all day while they break. So those are parts. Those are
multiple scenarios of toxicity, right?
And I feel it perpetuates from what society has told us we have to do, and people then take advantage. The same way people take advantage of the tax system, the welfare system, all that stuff. They're taking advantage of the societal system that was put in place. And then that's how you take advantage of people.
But you got to ask yourself, because again, we saying to people, we want to teach you how to identify a toxic relationship, right? And we want to help you to navigate
somebody
through
who wants all your money.
So, no,
somebody who wants
you
to
got to ask yourself.
Take.
But you have to ask yourself, what condition is the receiver in if the receiver can put up with the lack of support? Toxic communication,
I want to talk about this one.
envy and jealousy, resentment. That's a big one.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with people about that resentment piece. We can unpack that.
Let's unpack
right?
it.
So resentment could be, a lot of times you think that you're gonna marry or hook up with potential, right? And I always tell women, you can't hook up with potential. Because if you hook up with potential, right, you're going to be disappointed. Because potential means that you're looking beyond his current state into what you hoping the outcome will be. Yeah. Right? So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be disappointed. You know why? Because you cannot marry potential. Because when you say I do to somebody, you're not saying I do to your fantasy expectation of how it's going to turn out in the end. You saying I do, to this current state that person is in right now. So, and what happens is, here's where this resentment piece comes in with that. Because when you marry potential, or when you hook up with potential, right, and then that person is not producing or they're not growing, right, at the pace that you may want them to grow at, or they might not be growing at all. Forget the pace you want them to grow at. Guess what settles in? Guess what enters the relationship? The resentment. There we go. You've officially opened the door for resentment at that point. Because what you thought that you could tolerate, eventually when you don't see that person growing, you become resentful about it, right? And then it gets to the point where, you ready? Everything that person does irritates you.
Everything.
Everything they do irritates you.
Let's see what else you got. You take very good notes, by the way, Mom. You take good notes. I like these bullet points here.
Go sit down.
For real, let's line it up. Let's line.
Dishonesty, right? If you could tolerate that stuff, patterns of disrespect, the negative financial behaviors, like what's the financial situation in the relationship?
So define that part, negative financial behaviors.
Well, I think is it one person that financially carries the relationship? And then how about this part? Because to me, a couple that's in a relationship, where you're weak, I'm strong, right? And where I'm weak, you're strong. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you going through a season, right? Where financially you're not in a good place. That's not what we're talking about. Because guess what? If you're in a relationship with somebody and you're going through a season where you are going through a financial hardship, right? And you with somebody, if they don't try to, you may not be able to carry the person, but if you can't offer, oh, I'll take care of dinner, or if you can't do that, if that person can't do that, and they know that you're in a bad space financially in the season that you're in, something's wrong with that. So that's negative financial behaviors. Or if you find yourself in a situation where that person is not in any type of financial crisis, but you always carrying the relationship. What did you say? Sitting at the bar paying for the drinks. I saw a thing on social media. I don't know if Ashley saw it, but the girl was screaming and hollering at the guy because he wouldn't pay for all her friends' drinks. You not gonna pay? You supposed to pay for my like what?
But that's what I'm saying.
Negative when society says the man's supposed to provide. That's seen as her being gold digging. So what side of the gender roles are we gonna accept? You can't take them all.
That's what I'm saying.
You take the gender roles.
It's.
Well, here's the deal. How about you just
we need a defined thing of what is acceptable.
How about you just say that any type of usury, usury is unacceptable.
But those societal norms
That's
was built
unacceptable
upon usury.
because there's nowhere in societal norms that say you got to pay for all my friends' drinks.
No, it's an unspoken rule. It's an unspoken rule.
That ain't that. I don't know what
rule.
unspoken rule you guys.
It's called chivalry.
Are
It's called
referencing.
chivalry. That's
Chivalry
what
is toward the person that you are pursuing, not toward their friends. I could come out
But
with
women have taken the chivalry and upgraded it and said, you not only have to be chivalrous to me, you have to be chivalrous to me and the squad.
AKA
Spice Girls been said that.
Yeah.
If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friend.
AKA, guess what? That's usury.
I think, but it's applicable to everything.
Yeah, but
it depends on.
that's usury. So if
That's
you're
what
in
it
a
is.
relationship where you see negative financial behaviors, right? One-sided.
Yeah.
That's what that means. One-sided negative financial behavior that has nothing to do with a bad season that someone is going through. Because again, you got to be specific with stuff. Because if you don't, these people will take it and run with it, and they'll say, "Oh, I can't. No, I'm sick of you. Well, I lost my job," or it could be anything financial, right?
So, like, let's tell you, like, you ready for another level? Have anybody in the room seen the video of the gentleman who flew the girl out, spent all the money on dinner, took her out, then they went back to the hotel, and all of a sudden, she was talking a whole big game online. I like you. We together. We're in a relationship. We're gonna make love, and then to get back to the hotel, and boom. I think that's a perfect way to look at.
Don't touch me.
She said, "Don't touch me," right? So then he gets mad and makes a video. This heifer, I flew her out. I spent like 7 bands on her this weekend. I flew her out all the night, and she tell me I can't touch her. That's the perfect example of both sides. But no.
That's right.
No. But I'm not saying that part. I'm talking about the two from the expectations on both sides. She took advantage of him, and he was trying to take advantage of
Well, I
her.
think that's a whole nother episode, especially because we got 1 minute warning.
We got one. That was a short episode.
25 minutes, shorty.
That was a short episode.
Listen, Ma.
I mean, how long we have to go through like 10 episodes to really talk about this toxic relationships?
I think we should have some guests on the next one. We should have somebody. Listen, a week from now, we had a week to process last week. We'll have a week to process between the next one. I think we should really bring some people in who have really been in toxicity, who's been in it. If we really want to unpack this.
Is it too early to go on location?
No, let's go on location. Where we going? We going to the streets of Harlem?
You so stupid.
You going to the streets?
So stupid.
Have you been in a toxic relationship? Have you been in a toxic relationship? Define your toxicity.
I think that we definitely need to get some viewpoints from some other people. But again, I think that what I want to leave everybody with is
Love yourself.
love yourself.
Love yourself.
If you are finding yourself in a situation where you are accepting, how about this? It's real simple. What doesn't feel good. If it don't feel good, my father used to say, if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. So if you find yourself in a situation, in a situationship, or a relationship, or a marriage, the marriage may be a little more difficult, might require a little more strategy to navigate out, find your way out. But if you find yourself in any type of relationship that doesn't feel good, do your work.
Do it.
Until next time,
Until next time.
it's the real Romanay.
And it's your boy, Chris.
Peace.
Blue 5.